Sibiu. I'm in the main square, or the big square as it used to be called in here, and I'm waiting to start this tour to this old Romanian and Transylvanian city. I entitled the tour "Let's Baroque" because this was one of the motto of the city a couple of years ago when it was European cultural capital of Europe, and because everywhere the architecture of the city reminds us to the Baroque style. Till we start the tour, I will let you. Hello, Peter. I will let you to enjoy a little bit this large square and the surroundings. The people are refreshing, as you can see, at the fountain from the middle of the square. Welcome, Donna. At about 30 Celsius degrees here today. Being Sunday afternoon, is not so crowded as it used to be in here, and the people are on the terraces hiding from the heat and enjoying a cold beer or something else. And I hope you will enjoy the tour that I will start it very soon through Sibiu. We have like under 1 minute till we'll start, and as you probably, I will let you to take some pictures. Yes, Peter, the eyes. The famous eyes. So because there are about 30 seconds to the official hour of the tour, I will already, hello Diana, I will already start to tell you what is all about here in Sibiu. But first I have to find a good spot. So as you know already for my other tours, Sibiu is another city founded by the Germans at the beginning of the 13th century. The Germans, or the Saxons, being colonized in here by the Hungarian kingdom, which after the conquest of Transylvania from the Romanians, he decided that he needs to raise the economy of the province, bringing in here artisans and merchandisers from the left side of the River Rhine, from Bavaria, and also Hungarian colonists from Hungary to defend actually the frontier of the new conquest territory, because the Romanians doesn't want to work for the occupant but send him out over the border. Sibiu, like Brașov, my home city, which have not only the Romanian name of Brașov, but also the German name of Kronstadt and the Hungarian name of Brașov, we have a pretty similar situation in here, with Sibiu having two names, even three, if I'm thinking better. The Romanian name, Sibiu, which came from the Latin name of the city, Cibinium. Cibinium, it was the Latin name of the river which crossed Sibiu. Hello, Johnny, from New York. How's the time there? Here it's pretty hot. So this Cibinium, it's the river which still crosses the city, and from Cibinium we have the Romanian name of Sibiu. Hermannstadt, it's the German name of the city, and it's called like this because the legend is saying that the first Saxon settler from here, it was called Hermann, and from here Hermannstadt, the city of Hermann. Also, the Germans, when came here, they started to develop the city, building building it like any other German cities with a living room, as I call the main square, and with streets which was going around of this, parallel and perpendicular one to the other, and creating a very powerful commercial center and a very powerful center of the guilds from here, from Transylvania. Here in the council, into the council square, it's in Brașov, it's in my home city. Here into the main square, into the big square, as the people are calling it, it was the main place for parties, for markets, and for executions during the medieval times. Of course, now we have parties and many concerts along the year, markets, like for example the Christmas market, no executions. In Romania, we don't have the death penalty since 1989, so this is not happened anymore in here, which is very good in my opinion. I'm going now slowly to this corner of the square because I wanted to show you much closer this big palace in front of me, this big Baroque palace, which used to belong to Samuel von Bruckental, one of the governors of Transylvania into the 18th century, into the second half of the 18th century, 1770 to be more precisely. And he was a very great collectioner of things. He collected, for example, paintings, coins, weapons, a lot of archaeological discoveries from the area. And because of him, we have a very precious relic into the History Museum from Bucharest. It's a fragment from a bronze lamp used into a church into the 4th century after Christ, which carry a cross and an inscription which says in Latin, "Ego Zenovius votum posui," which it means, I, Zenovius, I give this gift to the church. It's one of the very important proofs of our Latinity and of the fact that our ancestors, the Dacian Romans, were Christianized before to become Romanians, which is a very interesting case in here, that we were Christians in the moment when our nation was formed between the centuries 3 and 5. The statue of Bruckental was revealed to the public only last year. I think pretty much in August, on this time, and it's one of the beautiful statues of Sibiu. Also, he was not only a collectionary, but a very close friend of Maria Theresis of Austria, and also being the governor of Transylvania, he is responsible for the stopping by violence of one of the rebellions of the Romanians from Transylvania. Three leaders had this rebellion: Horea, Croșca, and Crișan, one of the martyrs of the Romanian nation from Transylvania, fighting for the rights of the Romanians from here. Despite of this, Bruckental remained one of the most important. No, Joniel, is the statue of Vlad the Impaler, of Samuel von Bruckental, an Austrian governor of Transylvania. About Dracula, I will talk to you in the second part of this tour, when I will enter into the Evangelical Cathedral to see the tombstone of the son of Dracula. So here in this square, we have displayed a lot of beautiful houses. The majority of them built into the Baroque style, because are built into the 18th century. And as you can see, as a particularity of the houses from the city, you can see the eyes from the roof. Actually, the people in here used to build some openings into the roof of the houses to enter inside of the attic the fresh air and the light. And those openings are similar with some eyes open into the roofs of the city, which are looking to the visitors. You can see it much better here. You see, it's like a roof with then Joniel. If you love Dracula, you should follow my account from here to be ready to follow me again when I will repeat the tour from yesterday into the city where Dracula was born, and I visited the house where he was born. And as well, I will repeat very soon the visit on Dracula's castle, which is very close to my hometown at Bran. So if you like Dracula, follow me, and till the end of this fall, you will visit again his birthplace and his castle. So this is the particularity of this city. The houses have those openings into the roof, which are looking like the eyes of a person. That house, which I show it to you in the last 2 minutes, it used to be the house of one of the mayors of Sibiu, and this mayor of Sibiu, it's buried into the Evangelical Church, like many other personalities of the city. And I will show you his tombstone, because it's there into a very large collection of tombstones from the Evangelical Church from Sibiu. Also, I want to show you here, if my phone will respect the orders I give it to it. So those big things on the pavement of the main square are marking the place where it used to be the former cereal warehouses of the town from the 15th century. So here are many of it. The people used to keep the cereals into these warehouses built under the ground into big halls, and it was standing there in case of siege, in case of attack. They had food, they have cereals to do the bread and to have food to resist, because Sibiu, as you can see, this large and beautiful main square from here, around 1680, it was a city very close as dimensions to Vienna. And Vienna, here at the gate of the Occident to the Orient, was sieged by the Turks in 1689 for the second time. And Sibiu, as dimensions, was pretty much close to Vienna. Maybe because it was a very important military and commercial center of Transylvania. In Sibiu, we had a garrison of the Austrian army in here to maintain the order. And in this blue house, it used to be this headquarters of the Austrian army in Transylvania. And in the house, in the beige house, it used to be also one of the former, let's call it, universities of Sibiu. It was a university where the people were studying mostly law in around 1800. And here, near the Bruckental Palace, this really beautiful building. Today, inside of it, it's the City Hall of Sibiu, and it used to be around 1870 when they built it for the first time, a bank, a Romanian bank of the city, and an agricole bank, if you want. And of course, near it, we have a big and beautiful Roman Catholic church, also built at the end of the 19th century, on the place of several houses of artisans, which were built exactly here, where now you can see the City Hall, the Palace of Bruckental, the former headquarters of the Austrian army in Transylvania. It was houses demolished to make way to these new constructions. And now I want to show you something very interesting, which is actually the coat of arms of Sibiu, of the city. You can find it pretty much everywhere on the pavement, and I will show you in a minute, and I will explain it. Before to go to the second square of the city, which is the small square, this is the name of it. So this is one of the coat of arms of Sibiu, which are displayed on the pavement. You can see it's the name of the city, Hermannstadt, the Romanian name, Sibiu, the year 2007, where it was displayed. And now let me explain you. The coat of arms says that two knights with swords, and you can see the swords into the image, built a city fortified with walls, and those lines from here are representing the walls of the city, this triangle. City which was surrounded by lakes with water lily flowers, and you can see it here into the three corners of the walls. City which doesn't pay taxes to the Hungarian crown. So two knights with swords built a city defended by walls, surrounded by lakes with water lily flowers, which doesn't pay taxes to the Hungarian crown. This is the explanation of the coat of arms of Sibiu. We start from one of the first legends about the foundation of the city, and you will see this coat of arms displayed pretty much everywhere in here into the city, because it's normal to be there to remind to the people by their German heritage. As well, here you can see a well into the middle of the square. It was the place where the horses were receiving water when they arrived in Sibiu. Now we have also a fountain for the children to play and to refresh themselves. And Sibiu is not only a beautiful medieval German city, it's also one of the centers of the Romanians from Transylvania, where the movement from national freedom of the Romanians from Transylvania was very active into the 19th century, after the formation of the Austro-Hungarian dualism in 1867. And this statue from here, it belongs to one of the founders of the Romanian education system, which it's connected, of course, with the city of Sibiu, being born here and being very active. This man, Gheorghe Lazar, into this city, and as I said, one of the founders of the educational Romanian city here in Transylvania. Now here we are close to the council tower, which is a square tower, as you can see. Was built for the first time somewhere into the 15th century. It was guard the second lines of walls of the medieval city of Sibiu, being a watchtower to see the enemy coming, and everything was happened into the city, like dangerous events, for example, a fire. And today it's still standing, as you can see. And also this beautiful restaurant that you can see it here near to the tower. It used to be in this house around 1600, around 1700. It used to be the former city hall of the city, or the council of the city, where the councillors deciding all the important matters which have to be done for the people from Sibiu. I will go under this tower, and I will go to the small square. Into the small square, the people used to organize the fish market of the city, and of course, here the story is a little bit more interesting. That into the big square, we have another homes, another houses, another eyes, and of course the tower of the Evangelical Church, which is placed into the Huet Square, which is the third square of Sibiu, and I will go towards there in the next minutes. Till there, I wanted to show you the fact that this street that you can see it in front of me, in front of you, it used to be around 1400 to be a tunnel between the lower city and the upper city where we are now. Thank you, Joniel. And somewhere around 1550, 1570, the people demolished that tunnel and starting to build houses for the people. And those houses doesn't resist too much because it were demolished around 1600, moment when the people from Sibiu built a bridge over that road made by them, and that bridge has a very and that bridge has a very interesting history, which I will tell it to you in a minute. So I will continue into the small square. Here are a couple of artisans' houses from the old Sibiu. You can see where there it says City Stay Hostel. It used to be the pharmacy of the city, and all those houses were built pretty much in the same way. Like this one from here, you can see much more clearly because are not terraces in front of it. So at the first level or the second level, live the family of the artisan, and down at the ground floor, it used to be the shops or the places where he was working and was selling his products. Pretty much is the same way to build. And speaking about the artisans, which was reunited, like I told you yesterday, in Sighișoara, and 1 week ago in Brașov, they were reunited in guilds. And this house, this beautiful house in front of me, which now it's into a process of renovation, like it used to be for about 2 years, the Evangelical Church. It used to be the main house of the guilds from Sibiu, and actually in one of the sides of this house of the guilds, it was the butchers guild from Sibiu active in this house. It's the original house from the 16th century, which still remain standing in front of us as a proof of one of the most important periods of this city. Also, I want to go very slowly to cross the bridge, which I told you the people were built over that road, which was first of all a tunnel of communication between the lower city and the upper city. Then were built houses over there, and later, very close to our times, to the 18th century, was built this road, and of course the bridge over it. We have the luck to be today into the last day where we can visit this bridge and cross it, because since tomorrow we'll start into a long process of renovation. And it's called the Liar's Bridge. It's called the Liar's Bridge because it's the first cast iron bridge built in Transylvania and in Romania. And when they built it for the first time, they built it, they paved it, they put a pavement from wood, which wasn't very well established on the metal structure of the bridge. So for this reason, when you cross it, the bridge was creaking, making a lot of noises, and was giving you the sensation that will collapse with you from a moment to another. You can see the bridge here, from here, surrounded by very beautiful flowers on it. And from this particularity of the bridge that was creaking and was moving pretty badly, the wood pavement from it at the beginning, appeared the legend which says that if you tell a lie standing on that bridge, the bridge will collapse and you will die. And your descendants will pay the reparation of the bridge to the city hall. Of course, because of this legend, which said that if you say a lie on the bridge will collapse with you, we have today the name of the liar's bridge, give it to this bridge. And I will give you, I will tell you a very funny story. I will let you to take some postcards with the council tower. I went here probably 5 years ago with my daughter and with my wife into a visit, and sitting on the bridge with my daughter, her mother, my wife, asked her, "Joanne, do you listen to your mother?" My daughter was staying to think a little bit and then answered, "In this moment, yes." She had about 5, 6 years old, something like this. But because she knew the story of the bridge, because I tell her the story, she was probably afraid to not collapse the bridge if she is telling a lie. Okay, now I will go with you slowly to the third square of the city, the Huet Square, and also the square where it's built the Evangelical Church. I mention it because you know probably already, if you follow my other tours, that in 1535, after the reform of Martin Luther, Johannes Honterius, a humanist from Brașov. No, it's not. It's not water. Yeah, many politicians cross it, Peter, but no one answered to the questions here on the bridge, because otherwise they have to renovate it many times every year. Okay, so the Evangelical Church were renovated into the last 2.5 years, 3 years, and now it looks really beautiful. It's a very beautiful construction, and even for me it's a premiere today, because I didn't went till now into this renovated church. So I'm really curious to know how they do it. Yes, Sabina. Okay, as you can see, it's a market in here. During the summertime, the markets are all the time in here around of the church, in this part of Sibiu. And before to enter into the church, I want to show you the Apprentice's House. I've told you about the guilds many times, that the people which were entered to the guild were mostly men, because they had to get married with the daughters of the other members of the guild. They started as an apprentice around 14 years old. They was working till 16 years old. They get an exam. If they graduated, they had the right to. Yes, I'm glad you like it. That's my story with my daughter. They had to go for about 2 years to travel outside of the city, working, practicing their skills. And after that, they had the permission to come back into the city, sustain another exam, pay an amount of money, and get married, as I said, with one of the daughters of the other members of that guild. This custom of the traveling apprentices, it still exists in Europe, into the countries with a lot of German population, in Austria and Switzerland, in Germany. And here in Sibiu, the people are coming. Those travel apprentices are coming every year. They are living here into this house of the apprentices, where you can see the yellow house in front of me, near the tower of the staircase, as it is called, the other construction, painted in white. And they are coming here. They are working for the city in wood, in metal. They are blacksmiths. They had many professions and specialities. But I want to show you especially this thick beam with a lot of metal objects inside of it. Before of this, let me tell you this show you these panels with our apprentices, which are coming here in Sibiu. You can see them dressed and working for the city, and even here into a larger picture. This is the costume which was used by them since the 18th, 17th century. And here they are in Sibiu into another years working. So this beam of wood, it have a lot of metal objects in it. Why? Because all the blacksmith apprentices which are passing by here left a trace of their passing, standing into an object made by metal by their hands, just to remain as a memory for the people from the city. You can see are a lot of things made by metal here into this beam of wood, but tradition which is here since many centuries. And now I will go with you inside of the Evangelic Church to tell you and to show you all of the beauties of this big cathedral from Transylvania. In front of us, it's the Samuel von Bruckental Museum High School, a very old educational institution from the city. The idea is that this Evangelical Cathedral, it's a Gothic one, as you can see, was starting to be built around 1230, a Romanic chapel. And here where we are right now, it was a small hill. And on the top of that small hill, the people built this beautiful Gothic cathedral on the ruins of that previous Romanic church, starting with the 14th century, ended somewhere around 1520, the Gothic church. I've told you that there are many people buried inside. Their tombstones are into an exhibition, which is displayed right here at the main entrance. And all the bones of the people buried in here were taken out from sanitary reasons and buried exactly in the place that I show it to you right now. Under these beautiful flowers, on this place, are buried all the bones of the people buried in here into the Evangelical Cathedral, including the bones of Mignacel, the son of Dracula, which was killed in front of this church, in front of the main entrance. I will enter at my turn in here, and I will tell you the rest of the stories after that. Seama. Vă las ăștia așa și vorbim după aia când ies. Ok. Da, vin acum. So we have the tombstones, which, for example, belongs to one of the most important characters from Sibiu, buried in here. We have the name of them. Many of them members of the guilds from here. Other representatives of the Germans into the Parliament of Transylvania. You can see how beautiful they are. Here, up here, it's a very beautiful carving into the memory of Samuel von Bruckental. You can see it, his image into the middle of it, which was buried in this church. His tombstone is not in here because of the fact that was made in Austria at Vienna, was transported by the boat on the Danube and then on the river Mureș, and as far as I know, was sunk into the river Mureș and disappeared. I hope the signal is okay in here because the church have pretty thick walls, and I hope to not have problems with the signal. I want to show you something else. Here it's one of the altars which used to be into the church. As you can see on the both sides of the cross where Christ is crucified, we have a text in Latin which try to cover the image of Virgin Mary and Mary Magdalene. Staying at the bottom of the cross, you can see only their hands around of the cross where Christ is crucified. They were covered after the moment of when this church changed their religion from Catholic to Protestant, because the Evangelical Church do not accept religious images of Mary and of the saints. I will continue till I will go inside of the church with those images of the people which used to be buried there. This one, for example, it used to be one of the representatives of the Germans into the Parliament of Transylvania, which was a principate starting with 1600. And here you can see one of the graves which used to be in this which used to be into this church. It belongs to a man which was buried here around 1600. This was the crypt where they used to be buried. It's a very good example for you to see. And now I will continue to get along, going to the center of the church. Here, next to the walls, you can see a lot of tombstones of the people which was buried in here, and not only on the left side, but also on the right side too. Pretty much the ones with a book in their hands used to be priests. The book represents the Bible. Here, as you remember from yesterday from Sighișoara, a member of the Furriers Guild, you can see their coat of arms. And I think that we have the luck to hear the organ singing. It's an organ with 6,000 tubes. It's the largest in Transylvania. And you have the luck to see it singing, because this was happened pretty rare. And now I'm entering into the main church. You can see the vaults. The church was renovated really, really beautiful. You can recognize that beautiful Gothic. Okay. I will go to the front of the church, to the shrine. The benches were a little bit modified in here. And near one of the latest columns from here, it used to be the place where it was the tombstone and the grave of Samuel from Bruckental. Somewhere here. In this place, it used to be his grave. And you can see the pulpit, which have the 4 evangelists displayed around of it, and the Gothic decoration at the superior level. Also, I want to show you the organ, which it have, as I said, about 6,000 tubes. It's the largest in Romania, with Baroque decorations, as the majority of the houses from the city. And here are some beautiful carvings which showed us one of the coat of arms and one of the stories of the most richest families from Sibiu, of the Germans. This is like a genealogical tree of one of the families. I will try to give you some opportunities to take pictures. Before to go to the main altar to show you the single fresco which survived into this church after the Reform times. Are rich and noble families from Sibiu, which have their coat of arms displayed here into the church. Here it's another one. And the vaults, as you can see, are a serial of the vaults, of the Gothic vaults, which gave to us a nave church built as the Dominicans planned to do it, just to have space all the people of the community inside of this church. Here it's another small organ used for the small concerts and religious services. And also in here I can show you at the top, hanged on the wall, it's the single cannonball which hit this church during of a siege of the city. And because it was the first and the single one, they displayed for us to see it into this cathedral. Of course, that, as I told you, everything was covered, were plastered after the reform of Martin Luther. All the frescoes were plastered, excepting a big fresco representing the crucifixion of Christ, which was obviously renovated during of these years. And today I will be able to show it to you during of this visit, but I have to wait a little bit for my colleague to finish with his group, and to show you till there the altar, which is a very modern one, also built into the Gothic style, with Christ and Peter and Paul on the both sides of the cross. Usually Peter and Paul are represented during of the altar because they are guarding it, so that's why they are there. Okay, I will try to show you from here a big fresco. It's a fresco which, as you can see, represent the crucifixion. And here, till I will take a seat to show you, they displayed some of the remains of the first Romanic church, which used to be here into the church. And you can see the walls and all the constructions which used to be previously here. Okay, and now I will go to show you the painting. So the painting, as you can see, represents the crucifixion of Christ. And we have Christ in the middle with the two thieves on the both sides. And here in the first plan, we have a group of ladies with Mary Magdalene, and one of the ladies, it seems to faint. You see it in the middle of them. The secret here, it's, the painters, when they used to paint churches in the old times, they used to paint the figures of some people that they used to know. And in this case, the figure of the lady, which seems to faint, it's the face of the daughter of the mayor from that period of time, because the painter was in love with her. And he was painting herself, that man with the beard, which with the spear push into the rib of Jesus Christ. And imagine what's happened when the mayor knew about the passion that the painter had for his daughter. The poor painter lost his head into the big square from Sibiu, but the paint remained. Also, I want to show you another characters from this painting. Here, for example, we have the image of Sigismund of Luxembourg, an emperor of Hungary into the 14th century, and as well King Matthias of Hungary, the most important kings of the Hungarians into the 15th century, which are displayed here for their contributions to the construction of this church. The one with the spear was the painter. The lady which is fainting here, it was the daughter of the mayor, which was in love by the painter. And now I will invite you to do a game. But because the painting it's pretty dark, probably you'll not see it. Try to find the image of Christ in this painting, because he appeared about 7 times in here. So one time he appeared into the middle of the painting, crucified. Then he appeared here to the left at his birth. Third, he appeared here in the middle at his ascension to the heaven. And here in the third one, he appeared 4 times at his baptism. Okay. Fifth, he appeared in this place. You can see him on that buttress. And 6th time, he appeared down here. 7th place, where he appeared, but it's very difficult to be discovered, it's in here, on the other buttress, with a sword taking out from his mouth. It's a very common image of the apocalypse, where the word of God, it's the truth which cut like a sword all the sins and all the bad things which are done by the people. So that's the 7th image of Christ. Okay. And now, before to leave the church, also I want to tell you another important thing about Sibiu. Here we have one of the most important priest school of the Greek Orthodox Church from Transylvania, which is in Sibiu, and a very important bishopric also of the Greek Orthodox Church. I will not leave the church before to show you the tombstone of Mihnea cel Rău, the son of Vlad the Impaler, and you will see that it's a very I don't know, it's a tombstone which doesn't seem very important. When you will see it, You will not believe that it belongs to him. It's very simple, having only a cross on it, just to not, no, it's not this one, just to not let the people to recognize it very easy. I will go up on this staircase and I will show you the tombstone, which is up here. It was moved from the previously place. Now you can see from much closer the stone, which is placed in the middle of the Gothic vault. And here, that's the tombstone of Mihnacer Rău, the son of Dracula, built. With him, what happened that he was killed in front of this church. He was murdered actually, and he was assassinated and buried in here. It's only a cross. It's a very simple monument, comparing with all the others that you saw it into the exhibition. But it's very interesting that, and I will tell you something which is not proved yet, probably will not be proved in this world. Prince Charles of Great Britain made some researches in a couple of years ago. If you don't know, probably around 30 years old, you know. So Prince Charles have done some researches, and he discovered that his family, his mother, Queen of England, and all of the others have a direct bloodline with the family of Vlad the Impaler Dracula. One of the descendants of Vlad the Impaler Dracula was married with some noble people from Transylvania, which at that turn was married in Europe, and somehow they arrived to have descendants into the British royal house. Of course, nothing was proved yet because they are not in clear with all those marriages. But if something like this will happen and will be proved, imagine what the shock will be all over the world to have descendants from Dracula on the throne of Great Britain. That's why I said I don't think this will happen in this world. And also Prince Charles had a very beautiful residence and house in Transylvania, where he used to come every year for about a week, and to stay here into the village of Viskri. It's another German village from Transylvania where he used to come and stay. And probably this fall I will try to get there to Viskri to present you the village, because it's a German village, preserved in a very good condition, exactly as it used to be 150 years ago. And it's really beautiful to see that the people are still living as they used to live many years ago in there. And also they have a very beautiful fortified church into Viskri, where I will try to get to have a live from that village. And that village was raised and developed a lot with the help of Prince Charles, which invested a lot of money in that village and into the artisans which are still working there. I came till here just because I wanted to have the opportunity for some good pictures of the cathedral. I'll try to give you a good angle for pictures, including the tower. Even that it's pretty difficult to do it. Probably like this. In front of the cathedral, maybe you observe the statue, which belonged to Toich. It's one of the former priests of this Reformed church from Sibiu, and also he was one of the defenders of the rights of the Germans from Transylvania in front of the Hungarian kingdom and in front of the Austro-Hungarian Empire from later. He wrote some important books that you can see it into the statue. So he kept his right hand on a column where you can see a bronze medal with those two knights with swords, Herman and one of his knights, which founded the city of Sibiu, and those swords, cross swords, appeared on the coat of arms. And also above that medal are a lot of papers which represent important documents written by Toich in his long life here in Sibiu. This was pretty much my tour from here. I will end it into the big square where I started it. And before to do this, I will ask you if you have some questions to ask at the end of this tour. Maybe it's something that you want to know much better or to ask me. That's why I'm here. My next tours will be only next weekend, and will be on one of the most important fortresses in Transylvania. It used to be the headquarters of the Teutonic Knights, and I will talk to you along of that tour about the Crusades, the Crusaders, about the importance of the Crusaders into the split of the Christian Church into the schism from 1054, because you will see it's a very important connection. Also, I will talk to you along of that tour about the reasons of the people to start those crusades and how were formed the main groups of the knights that you know it, the Templars, the Teutonic, and the Order of Knights of St. John, of the Hospital St. John from Accra. So follow my account, because I will have many other tours this year. And of course, if you are thinking to travel to Romania to have a real tour in here, you can contact me by my travel agency, which is Visit Transylvania Travel. If you Google it, Visit Transylvania Travel, you will arrive exactly on my website, on visittransylvania.ro, and there you can message me, and I can organize a tour for you in Romania, not only in Transylvania. Senor Cabrera, I'm glad that you enjoyed the tour. I hope you enjoy it, all of you. I hope you like it. I hope that you learn a lot of new things about Romania. That's a plane which goes to the airport from Sibiu. And as I said, follow my account and follow my future tours, because if you don't, you have no idea what you will lose. I wish you a good night, a good day, and a good morning. And I wait you for the next ones. Bye bye to you all. The account, it's my account. It's Romania Tours with Nicu Sabina, and the travel agency, it's Visit Transylvania Travel. You're welcome, Ina. You're welcome, Marja. I wait for you for the next tours. Thank you very much to you all. Bye bye.